Good morning. Today is the 23rd of January 2025 and I'm going to go through today's watch list and levels I'm watching. But before we start, let's just take a look at the news, what could move the market. We had some news come in, jobless claims at 8:30. Didn't see a great deal, nothing really happened. We had a big indecision candle, and then we do have some oil coming up at 11, and that's about it. There is one big one not listed here, and we've got Trump speaking at 11 as well. And on my FX Street economical calendar, this is where I get my data feed from. It's coming up as a big red, so very impactful. So keep an eye on that. 11 a.m. Trump speaking, so if you're in a trade, just be a bit wary. The market may be a bit unpredictable. Okay, so on my screen, let's go to the ES and start off with the daily time frame. I like to look at the higher time frame so we can see where we are. There are some significant areas to keep an eye on today. We've got, or not today, in general, we've got the price rising, but we have the volume declining, bar one candle, and that's generally a sign of weakness from the buyers. So we are coming into areas of overhead resistance, overhead supply. We've got the all-time highs down at 6160 to 6200. We've got this area we were watching yesterday, and look at that, we literally poked into it and rejected it, and we're back down there now. So I think if we do break this zone, which is 6100, then keep an eye on a potential short or some sort of pullback, maybe continuation of this trend. Let's just get rid of that. If we break over that, then we've got this area of supply and this area of supply to keep an eye on. So it's going to be quite a difficult area. We look at the volume to the left as well. We've got a volume shelf here at that area above 6130, 6140, and we have a bit of decline in volume at top, which you expect as it hits all-time highs. So potentially signs of weakness. RSI wise, we're in about midway. The average is about midway as well, so it's not overbought yet. So maybe we might have a few more days of just grinding up slowly before we see a bit of a reaction. So let's go down to the hourly. Again, it's only looking at volume. We can't guarantee or predict what's going to happen. Let's go back to my mainstream. Right, so on the hourly now, this is the ES again, and we can see that area we poked into yesterday and rejected. So I'm probably going to have a tidy up of this. We can keep an eye on pre-market lows and levels, get rid of that zone and that zone. I do like coming into this zone here. So let's keep an eye right on the point of control. Look at that, you can see why I keep an eye on these levels. Point of control, big area of volume, area of confluence, an area of supply, and here came right into that area level and rejected it yesterday. So I'm going to keep an eye on that again today. So I'm watching for 61.35, 75 for a rejection, and what I'll be looking for is the market to move. Let's just get my pen back. Looking for the market to move into that area. Hopefully it doesn't break that high and it puts in a slightly lower high, and as it comes out of that area, then I'll be looking for an entry, maybe a break and retest short. We've also got pre-market high, which we're pretty close to right now. We've got a bit of movement above to break and retest before we get into that zone, so I'm watching for that long. And if we break the pre-market low, we've got this trend here. If we break pre-market low, this level at 61, basically 6100, watch for the break and retest short into that, and that'll also be breaking this uptrend as well. So a couple of good areas to watch. Bounce wise, I do also quite like the pre-market low area for a bounce, but we've already bounced there once. In fact, the next best area to watch for a bounce will be this area here. Let's just go back to price. which is 60, 69, that area there for a bounce. And I like that purely because we've got a previous pivot, we've got a little bit of volume coming in, we've got previous pivots there, we retested it, so you can see we were narrowing down and we broke out, we came back on that red candle, just about to see it, and retested it. So 60, 69 I like for the bounce. I would consider 6100 as a potential higher risk bounce area, or break and retest short. Break and retest over, just mark these off, break and retest over pre-market high, which is 61.17, 61.15 area, and then I like the rejection of yesterday's high, and that's at 61.35. So that's my 4 areas I'm watching today, and obviously we're getting close to all-time highs. This is all-time highs over here, and this zone's a little bit wide, so I will keep an eye if we get up into this zone. It's a bit wide, and we can narrow that down as we get up there. Looking at SPX, I'm going to that first as a SPY because it is quite significant if we're looking for a rejection, because we already are touching all-time highs. So yesterday's high is actually, I think that's previous. Did it actually break the all-time high? We've got 6181, 6099. Yeah, so yesterday made a new all-time high on SPX, not by much, and it's an instant rejection. So keep an eye on that area as well. If we're coming into that area and we're looking for a long, just be wary, it could reject again as a double top. Again, you can draw the trend line up here. You can see quite clearly what we're looking to break down below if we were to change trend. And in bounce wise, we can keep on the levels we've got. We've got this area here which we gapped up over, so we've yet to retest that. We've got the gap fill at yesterday's high as well. So if we, or what's that, Tuesday's high, also happens to be the point of control as well. So let's keep an eye on this area if we do pull back today for potential bounce. So moving on to SPY next. Good morning, Charles. Hope you're well. Hopefully you had a good week so far. If I've got time, I'll pretty go over my week. It's not been a very good week for me. But I'll rather just go from the levels and then we can go through that. So again with SPY, I do quite like the bounce down here off of this pivot. So just keep an eye on this 602.81, 602.24 area for a bounce. We've also got the 50 moving average coming up into that area as well. The next long will be the break and retest of pre-market high, and then watching this zone here for the rejection, 608. And that's, if we just zoom out a little bit, it's that area of all-time highs as well. So that all-time high area. So we're watching this area for potential rejection. And I think that's it. And obviously we can watch pre-market high, break and retest, and pre-market low, break and retest. And if we do take the pre-market low, break and retest, we will be most likely breaking this uptrend. Next up is NQ. NQ was a little bit overbought yesterday, and we saw the rejection by looking at RSI. Look at that, how about that? We had this level in place, we was watching this area of confluence, and look where it got to yesterday, literally touched 22,100. So that's an area to keep an eye on again for a potential rejection, double top. Otherwise, pre-market high 21,929, break and retest long, or pre-market low, break and retest short. And obviously if we break that, like the others, we'll be breaking that downtrend, and so potentially we could be looking for a position a bit like that. Or if we break down through pre-market low, there's no reason why it can't come back up and retest. So just be a bit wary if we do break that. Even though we've broken that trend line, we really want to see some sort of confirmation. Maybe look for the entry here instead of on it break. Point of control is the next area we can watch for the bounce. I like this area for a bounce actually. 21,745, 21,700 area. All this region we'll keep an eye on for a potential bounce. And that's it really. QQQ. Pierced through that area of supply and then lost it again, so it's still an area of supply but doesn't have as much weighting as it did originally. Now I'm watching yesterday's high of 533.83 for a rejection, and then watching for a break and retest of pre-market high. So maybe we can break out of this zone, come back and retest it, and then push up. We've got our profit target. And then if we lose pre-market low, we're breaking this trend line, and then we can look for a break and retest. Maybe look for the break, it retests back into that area, 530 area, for a rejection. Oil is putting in a bit of a hourly downtrend. This is our hourly downtrend, not the best line. Let's just draw a proper line around here. We've been holding this level 75.40. You know, this level's been in place for some time. We're holding it now. You can see the volume is in that area as well, so we know that's a key area to watch. If we lose 75.18, we can expect to see another push down into this void. Look at this big volume void. So let's watch for a bounce down here or break and retest a pre-market low. Let's clear that up. So pre-market low, I'm looking for a break and retest into this void. Do you know what? Let's just put an alert in place. So I want to break it, so it's just below pre-market low. So if we do break down, then I'll get that alert and then I can decide what I want to do. If we break pre-market high, really want to see it break yesterday's high as well. Come back and maybe even break this level we're watching as well. So if we break that area and come back, and we'll watch for the bounce long. You know, even though we had this pullback, volume's been increasing on the selling off as well. So showing more signs of sellers and buyers here. But let's just see what this happens to do. Whether we do break this area or whether we are going to just break out over this area. So they're the two areas to watch for. That's all I'll be watching today. Gold. Just draw this rough trend line in place just so we can see where we are. I do quite like the bounce around here. Right, we've got the 200 moving average, 27.32, an area we've previously been watching as well. Tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots here, and then see what happens when we get back down into that area and watch out for the bounce. Could keep an eye on that area. I'm not a big fan of that area, but we do have plenty of volume here as well. So we could also watch where we are right now for a bounce, 27.50. Otherwise, break and retest or pre-market high. First target yesterday's high, and that's a rejection area as well. RTY, this is the Russell 2000. And I'll go on to order flow in a minute. It's a little bit of a divergence right now. Russell 2000, bit of an inverse head and shoulders pattern. This is the neckline breakout. Come back and retest it there, maybe. So let's watch for the bounce. Let's add a new level in because this is a big significant area where we are right now. The reason I like it is because it's a big area of confluence. We've got the bottoms of that pivot there close to it. Tops of here, tops of these pivots, tops of these pivots, bit of consolidation, and we came right into it. So I'll be looking for a break and retest short of pre-market low or a bounce off of that level. 2300 is a nice psychological number as well. If we get over, we can keep an eye on this area for potential rejection. We were pretty close to these levels. This is zone here yesterday. Again, I don't use levels, I use zones. I'm kind of looking for an area, so that would have worked if you're looking for it. And we've broken the uptrend as well, so the bounce here is going to be a tough bounce, but let's keep an eye on a break and retest or a bounce. Okay, YM. This is the Dow Jones. That's our uptrend. We've got a little bit of significant an area here. Let's just mark it off. That area there. The reason I've got a pivot, bottoms of pivots, it's a zone. So if I were to really watch it, it'll be this region here. We've held it, broke out, came back, retested it, and now we're looking to potentially continue to move up. Notice a reduction of volume, however, on this move up, and then ignoring that day because it's a half day or closed day. We'll see what today brings, but if we're potentially looking for a break and retest a pre-market high there, and that is at 44 basically 44,400. And if we were to lose this trend line, we can watch for the break and retest of yesterday's low. And that's it really, nothing overhead. Got this brilliant downtrend, but it's all average volume. There's the most volume, there's a volume spike there. And then the next volume spike is not till we get up there. So nothing really until we get into this region up here. That's where the volume starts coming back. So 45,200 to 45,600, and I like that because of this volume over here. And at the moment we're on this volume spike. That's exactly where we are right now. So I think trend continuation for that. So keep an eye on YM. And then finally Bitcoin. New all-time high a few days ago, Monday. And what am I seeing? I'm now seeing, we talked about this yesterday, I'm seeing a left shoulder, a head, and yesterday we were about here, and I said, is this going to be a right shoulder? Lo and behold, there's our right shoulder neckline. So we can watch this area for a bounce, pre-market low, 101,200, 101 that area, or 100,000 basically, there's a nice round number. If we lose 100,000, break and retest short into this region. Otherwise, watching for 100,000 for the bounce. And then if we break over yesterday's high and pre-market high, we could be just doing that again. So I've been trading Bitcoin. I've been trading it on the MBT futures symbol, and doing okay. I had a losing day yesterday. I went. Can you believe I had a losing day when the market went that way? I don't know how I lost. I think I must have just had a tight stop. But I only take one trade a day on Bitcoin. Yesterday I caught this, or day before I caught this big run up, and then I was hoping to try and do the same yesterday, and I got stopped out. Must have been on this bit of whippiness down here. So, but I'll be watching 100,000. So let's just put my alert in. Watching that area for a bounce or a break and retest short. But also just look at the volume in that area as well. Lots of volume. So this entire area, there's plenty of volume here. So we could see this as an area we may see a bounce. You know, how many times are we going to keep going through that area? Are we going to bounce again, or are we finally going to lose that area, drop down? And then let's just quickly flick over to the order flow, because there is a little bit of divergence going on. You can see quite clearly cumulative delta is rising, the price is just going sideways. In fact, recently the price is going down while the cumulative delta is going up. So what does that mean? That means we've got big buy-in orders coming in, aggressive buy-in, but with no follow through to the upside. If you want to see follow through, you expect buyers and price to go up with it. So we could see that there could be sellers here absorbing all this buying pressure, and then who runs out first? Does the buyers run out of juice and then the sellers take it back down, or does the sellers run out of juice and the buyers take it back over? That's what we're watching for. What is the current level? 61.12. So we are at the pre-market high area. Was that yesterday's low, isn't it? Yeah, we are at yesterday's low area as well. So potentially that's a rejection point. Or if we break through pre-market high, it's a break and retest long. So it looks a little bit, I don't like to say this in pre-market because of the volume, but it looks a little bit more bearish than bullish right now. So maybe we're watching here, maybe what we're seeing here is the buyers being absorbed by the sellers pushing it down. And you see topping tails as well, big sign that we've got buyers in place, sellers in place. Another area to watch is just to look at the level 2 and see what orders are coming in as well. Okay, that's it. market opens in 6 minutes. Oh, let me just go through my trades yesterday. Let's go into the 5. I've got a few minutes, and let's just encourage this painful few days. I've had 3 days, 3 red days in a row, and all days started off green, ended up being red, and I've not really stuck to my plan. It's not been that great. So yesterday, I took 3 trades yesterday. In fact, I took 4 trades, I think it was. I had a very small risk break and retest short down here, which was green for a bit, and then it just couldn't break down. You can see we got 3 bottom tail candles, and you know, I should have just gotten out, but I took a full stop, or I took a half stop, I meant, sorry. And then I tried a break and retest of pre-market high. You can see it was doing really well, and boom, that candle, I don't know if you can see that candle. That candle there. So pre-market high was here. I got in, break and retest, pushed up, and then boom, this big tail. It took a bit of slippage as well, so I took more than a 1 hour loss here. I think my 1 hour was about there, and I think I was tagged out about there. Really frustrating, so I got back in again. So this time I waited for the pullback. I got in about here, I think, so not the price I wanted. Pre-market high was there, that's what I wanted to get in. And then I held it, and I think I added a bit more, thinking we're going to see a big push up. And then it brought my break even up, and I just didn't like the fact we had this big candle come in, and then we just went sideways. So I got out at a small loss, and then it broke out again, so I added here, or got back into the same trade, tried to continue, and then it just sold off and I stopped out again. And I think that was pretty much it. So yeah, that was it. I was done by 11. Yeah, that's it, 11 AM. And then my original idea, which makes it even more frustrating, this area here, my original idea, it worked beautifully. So maybe I need to work on my stops, maybe give myself a bit more room. In fact, yesterday I went from the 5 minute back to the 2 minute, and I think it's a 2 minute what did it. I did that yesterday, day before yesterday as well, because I've been getting impatient on the 2 minute, and because I'm getting impatient waiting on the 5 minute, I think I've been looking at the 2 minute saying, oh, that's a better entry, but I got rid of the 2 minute purely because of all the false positives and the untidy chart. And the 5 minute and the 15 minute just tidies it all up. So if we look at that, let's go to the 15 minute. Where are we? Yesterday, even the 15 minute, if I just watched that, if I watched for the break of pre-market high, I would have saved myself, would have come back, it would have come back into that area on that whip out where I got whipped out on the 2 minute chart, and then I could have put my stop there, put my entry on the breakout of that again, and it would never have come back and touched my stop until the end of the day, but I would have been out by then. And also I keep holding on for 2, 3 and 5R, and I think that's the issue. Plenty of times I was up 2R a couple of times yesterday and the day before, 2R, but because it didn't hit my 3R, I let it come back and stop myself out. So I've got to work on oh, I'm so sorry, I'm on the order flow chart, my apologies. I'll go back through my trades quickly, we've got a few seconds, I'll be very brief now. So yes, there was a break and retest of pre-market high. I took a couple of stops. Let's go back to the 5. You know, I want to do this because I use these videos to review my performance as well, so it's not just beneficial just so I want to share. I like to share my my good and my bad days. I think that makes it more transparent. So that's the pre-market high area yesterday. I first took a break and retest short, thinking that we were not going to have any more follow through. We broke that trend there, and it wasn't in my plan, which is probably the first bad point, and I thought we were going to start moving down, and you can see we had these 3 bottom tails, and I was up a couple of hours, 1 hour I think at one point, and then it stopped me out as it broke out. Bit annoyed, but that's fine. And then my actual planned trade was the break and retest of pre-market high. Came up, came back down. I used the 2 minute chart instead of the 5 minute chart because I was getting bored and impatient. I've done for the last few days, and I got in, and it was a good trade. I was up 2 hours, I think I was at one point, and then look at this big nasty candle. This bad boy candle came in, whipped me out. My stop was about there, I think it was near to the tops of those pre-market high candles. took some slippage as well, so that's more than 1R loss there. And so I waited and it pulled back down here, so I got back in there, so not the same area I wanted, so I was a little bit worse off for my entry. Could say I was chasing it, maybe I should have walked to this point, and then it doing okay, and then I added a few times, added there and I added there, and it's looking good. We had a big volume spike coming. That's the other reason I liked it. That's the previous candle. I thought, you know what, that's aggressive buying coming back in. It sold off and aggressive buyers came in, and then I got stopped out. I think I was trading my stop. I got stopped out around about that area there, so I thought, I went back in one more time. I got whipped in there, and then I got stopped out again. So 3 trades plus that one down there. It was a frustrating day, and it's been like that all week, and it's because I'm holding out for my 3R. I want to take 50% off at 3R, 50% off at 5R, and when it works great. But days like this where we're whipping around, and I've noticed the opening of the market, we're just going sideways. Look at that, we're doing nothing for the first half an hour. If you go back a few days, same there, doing nothing. Look at that, how bad is that? That's where I'm getting all my losses. So I want to be done by 2 hours after the market opens. So I think I'm just getting a bit frustrated and impatient. Anyway, the market's just open now, so let's keep an eye on the break and retest of pre-market high, which we're not far from now. Otherwise, be patient. Don't jump into trades like I've been doing just for the sake of trading, and there's no need to rush. And remember, there's a day you can always trade tomorrow, and the market's always open later. Okay, I do appreciate you watching. I will be on the live stream on and off today, so any questions or queries or anything else you want me to add, please let me know. Okay, thank you for watching.